What it do, what it do, what it do? It's your boy, Silly Cell, and we back in here with another episode of Juice City Legends. If you have not, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel. Alright gang, let me give a shout out to all my supporters, all my subscribers, man. Y'all keep on tuning in, y'all keep on hitting that like button, man. Y'all go ahead and run me up to 2K, man. We at the 1900 right now. I know we can get to 2K real soon. Anybody that got any kind of merchandise, any kind of product you need promoted, hit the email. It's in the link down below. With that being said, let's get it. All right, gang. Today we're going to talk about the silent rivalry, the silent beef between the two cities, Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas. Now, Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas, they are some of the most popular cities when it comes to down south culture. Two very similar cities, both with a lot of rich heritage, a lot of history within the black culture. So, with these similarities, and both of them being pillars of the southern region, it has always been a quiet rivalry between the two. The both of these cities has made huge contributions to the hip hop community. Houston, Texas, with the Ghetto Boys and UGK, pretty much giving the South their sound and identity. On the other hand, Outkast, along with Goody Mob, is pretty much credited for kicking the door down and getting the South to prominence. You see, in the beginning, it was all about unity because everybody was trying to get the South on the map when the South was being oppressed by the rappers from New York City and the record labels, calling us dumb, slow, and pretty much saying we couldn't rap and we had no place in hip hop. But due to the contributions of the forefathers of the South, today, Atlanta, Georgia in particular, and also Houston, Texas, are a mainstay in the rap community. But over years, they began to develop a rivalry. Now I'm going to break down some of the rivalries starting all the way back from the 2000s up to today. The first rivalry we're going to visit is the T.I. versus Lil Flip situation. Now, the T.I. and Lil Flip situation is one of the most infamous rap beefs in Southern history. It all started a long time ago before T.I. was T.I. and Lil Flip was one of the hottest rappers in the South. At the time, Lil Flip was getting a lot of love in ATL. T.I., he was doing his thing, but he was up and coming. And if you know anything about T.I., when he first came out, he was in and out of jail a lot. So, according to T.I., when he was locked up, Lil Flip was in town doing a show. And he supposedly dissed T.I. Now, it was never a video or any kind of footage that would confirm that this was true. A lot of people believe that T.I. kind of made the beef up so he can go against Flip to catapult his career. Either way, when T.I. came out dissing Lil Flip, it was a changing of the guard situation. Because like I said, at the time, Lil Flip was the hottest rapper out of the two. And T.I. went first, the dissing Lil Flip, calling him out, saying he couldn't rap, telling him what he'll do to him, even pulling up to H-Town, threatening to fight Lil Flip. And Lil Flip, he was not known as the gangster rapper, but nobody's gonna let you come to their hood and pull up talking about fighting. See, this beef got so deep where you had people in Houston that were giving T.I. information about Lil Flip, and even people in Houston being on T.I. side. That's the reason he was able to come to Lil Flip hood. Now, even though T.I. had big nuts pulling up to Cloverland to fight Lil Flip, it didn't go the way T.I. supposed. From what I hear, T.I. got a couple hands put on him for coming to H-Town. The good thing is, it was only a fight. Now, I'm not here to say that either one of those two put hands on each other. It was more so the underwriters and OGs like Jay Prince and the late great Pimp C stepped in and got these guys to come to some kind of agreement and to squash their beef. But even though the beef was squashed, a lot of people in Houston felt some kind of way about T.I. coming to H-Town, pulling up. A lot of people in Atlanta felt like y'all could never come to ATL talking about pulling up on nobody. So, like I said, this beef ended up going under the rug, but this was one of the first times that Houston and Atlanta went. Now, this brings me to my next beef between Houston and Atlanta. Now, actually, these two artists are more so they represent their states and they just have ties to the different cities. And I'm talking about Pimp C and Jeezy. So to make a long story short, when Pimp C got out of jail, he came back in the society during the time where Atlanta rap was running the game. And Pimp C was used to doing things the way they were done back in the day, meaning that if he do a verse for somebody, he expect them to get back at him the same way. But when he did verses for certain artists, he did it for the free. When he tried to get them to do verses for them, they gave Pimp C their manager number and tried to charge him. Now this wouldn't sit well with Pimp C, causing Pimp C to go on a legendary tirade against Young Jeezy, other artists, and Atlanta as a whole. Now I'm just gonna play this clip for y'all.
And why they think you dissing in Atlanta? Talking about Atlanta's not the South. When I get off the airplane in Atlanta, what time is it? It's whatever time it is out here, homie. It's Eastern Standard Time. But it's still on the south side of the map. Okay, but it's Eastern Standard Time, ain't it?
But then what you saying that we're not even from the South, like Atlanta ain't the South, like, it's a lot of UGK fans that got their feelings hurt.
But that's how I feel. If you want to get mad at me for the way I feel, then don't get mad at me. And a fight go with that. And this the next thing, man. Anytime an artist in Atlanta makes punk music and get on a record, they need to shout out to 3-6 Mafia. Because y'all know that's where that music started at, man. You feel me?
But Pimp C, why are you so mad? It just seemed like you real angry.
You know why I'm mad? Let me tell you why I'm mad. I'm mad because everybody on these records lying. Everybody lying. Everybody's this big D-boy. Everybody's these hardcore gangsters. Everybody gonna do this to each other when they see each other. And the truth be told, we too blessed and we having too much money in this rap game to be going to war with each other.
Right.
Okay. And the truth be told, don't nobody want to fight nobody in this rap game. Come on, man. At the end of these records we listen to, we don't get nothing out of them no more, man. We don't get no social commentary. We ain't getting no kind of knowledge out these records.
Now, that's just some of the interview with Pimp C went in Atlanta. Now, I ain't played the whole thing. If y'all heard that, y'all already know he went in on that, man. And like I said, it was the second blood that was drawn in the beef between Houston and Atlanta. But due to the fact that Pimp C was an OG, and Pimp C died like right after that, to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? It's been all kind of conspiracy theories of what really happened to Pimp. But we'll just say nothing never happened other than them having tension, Jeezy and Pimp C or whatever. Jeezy did shout out Pimp C, saying it was all good. He know the Pimp gonna speak his mind or whatever. But like I said, in the minds of the youngest head, there was blood drew between Houston and Atlanta. Now this brings me to the third time that we know Houston and Atlanta was at odds. Now, this is when the younger generation started to get into it. Now, representing Houston, around 2013-14, was none other than Sauce Walka, man, the drip father, man. Sauce Walka is an independent artist from Houston, Texas. And he go by the old laws. He go by the Houston laws. If you know anything about Houston, a lot of they rappers, independent, self-made, they do their own thing. They really don't ride no kind of wave of what the industry do. So, Sauce Walka, he had a lot of pride in that. And he stand on sticking to the traditions of Houston, Texas. And Sauce Walka also invented a lot of things that mainstream rappers, we'll just say, start biting. Like, for instance, the term drip, that come from Sauce Walka. The term sauce, Sauce Walka was the one to make that popular. We all know a bunch of Atlanta rappers, mainstream rappers, with record deals, they go against everything that Sauce Walka stand for. Got all type of songs talking about drip, talking about sauce, talking about purple Sprite, dirty Sprite, when we all know that that's Houston culture. Now, a lot of other Houston cats, they really don't pay it no mind because they know these boys in Atlanta getting so much money. They let them use the lingo and trade of them rocking with them when they come to Houston or whatever. But Sauce Walka, being on the strength that he's self-made, he ain't going. And he feel like he's the inventor of this. Now, y'all already know what rappers I'm talking about from Atlanta, man. Some of the most popular rappers in the past 10 years to come out of Atlanta. Young Thug is the main op, or out, as Sauce Walka would say. Future, he can't stand nothing Future stand on in Ghana. Now, every time Young Thug, Ghana, Future did anything, Sauce Walka went out his way to let him know he ain't pleased with it. Y'all lame, y'all biting drip, y'all sign to these record labels. I'm independent. Y'all need to quit coming to the city, biting all the drip, not paying homage, pay respect, tell everybody where it came from. The Atlanta boys, they feel like Sauce ain't got enough money to speak to them. They feel like Sauce ain't putting enough hits to even speak to them. Because like I say, these Atlanta rappers, they signed to major record labels. They selling millions of records. We talking about some of the biggest rappers in the game, man. Future, Young Thug, Gunna. These some of the most prominent rappers in the past 10 years. But in Sauce's eyes, and so to say, Sauce is an independent boss, a millionaire, independently. So due to the fact that Sauce Walka is a boss, a certified boss in H-Town, Young Thug is a certified boss in Atlanta. Both of these guys have huge influences on their people. Both of these guys roll with a huge entourage. Future really didn't pay Sauce Walka no attention. Young Thug, he's the one that would go back and forth with Sauce Walka. Now, nothing ever came to fruition between these two, thank God. On the strength, Sauce Walka don't go to Atlanta. And Sauce Walka said if somebody book him in Atlanta, he coming to Atlanta. Young Thug, he has been to Houston, but make no mistake, when he come to Houston, he's very secure, which he should be. It's nothing to be scared of when you go into somebody's city, especially when somebody on the BS, to have your security, man. You know what I'm saying? But this been ongoing for years. Now, of course, we know Young Thug in Ghana, right now they locked up, man. They dealing with a RICO case. So they really not paying Sauce Walka no mind right now. You know what I'm saying? They got bigger fish to fry. But Sauce Walka so petty. He even ditched these boys on their own beat when he did his cipher for the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Why you put me on pushing P? I want pushing P on off a boat into the sea. He pushing paper in her purse and she passing it out to me. Put it in my pocket, baby, the definition of P. You a player perpetrator, you paying up for them cheeks. Baby mama got your kids and you ain't paid them in.
Okay, now this leads me to the most recent situation between Houston and Atlanta. Now, unfortunately, Migos rapper Takeoff unfortunately lost his life in Houston, Texas. Takeoff and his uncle Quavo was supposedly invited to a private birthday party for the son of James Prince Sr., Jazz Prince. Earlier that night, before Takeoff was murdered, Quavo and Takeoff could be seen riding around the Fifth Ward, which is the neighborhood that Jay Prince is from, in the Rolls Royce with Jazz Prince. Now this was around 12 o'clock. No later than 2:45 a.m., Takeoff was murdered. Now, what the rumors are that are circulating around the internet is that Quavo and James Prince Jr. was involved in some kind of argument. From what I'm hearing, it was some petty, some little is something about playing basketball. Long story short, the guys had an argument. You look at the video that's on the internet, you can hear Quavo arguing with someone, and he told him, "Let's go before I hurt somebody." And after that, all hell broke loose. Moments later, Takeoff could be seen on the floor. Quavo hovering over him, crying, screaming to the top of his lungs in disbelief that his nephew, the one that gave him the inspiration to start the group Migos, was dead. And right after that, the internet was going to a haywire when videos was beginning to circulate with Jay Prince Jr. walking right past Takeoff's body. Immediately, the internet started putting two and two together, man. Mob ties and Jay Prince Jr. is somehow implicated in the murder of Takeoff. Now, man, I'm just gonna say it like this, man. I hope to God that this does not lead into a civil war between Atlanta and Houston. What happened to Takeoff should have never happened. I don't know who was responsible, but somebody needs to be held accountable. Now, if this has something to do with the rapper lot, mob ties, the energy need to be towards them. It shouldn't be Atlanta versus Houston. Man, too much love in between the two cities for them to go at each other like this. Man, I'm hoping for the best. I'm praying that everything is a peaceful outcome. Like I say, I already know if they did that to Takeoff, man, I can't get mad at nobody for handling it however they handle it. But I just pray for peace, man. Rest in peace, Takeoff, man.